Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back, having a good time in the studio as usual.
Nancy and I are having great conversation over here.
What's going on? It's like two different shows.
Exactly. You guys are having that conversation over there, talking about a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
We're having the conversation over here, and we have a guest that is called in right now.
Yes, it's Mike Detrick from Wichita Falls. Mike was actually my mentor when I was a tree pack trustee. Mike, you there?
I'm here. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you?
All good in North Texas. How's everything?
Well, there's this big bright orb in the sky this morning that I didn't recognize. We've been having rain for so long. It was just, it was kind of nice to see the sun once again.
Well, that's great.
Anyway, you're probably one of the most versed people on the Texas Voice, which is our consumer-based political action committee. So I want you to talk about a couple minutes about that.
Sure, Rob. Thank you for having me. Voice for Texas is the consumer-facing brand of TreePack, the Texas Real Estate Political Action Committee. TreePack was formed in 1972 by the Texas Association of Realtors for the protection of private property rights. By my calculation, that gives us over 40 years of realtor-driven political action activity to protect private property rights. The legacy, the tradition, the public policy that has risen up out of that is unbelievable. And 2 years ago, we determined that there is an opportunity for the consumer who benefits from those public policy initiatives to become part of our audience, to become better educated on the protection of private property rights, and ultimately, if they would like to make an investment in the protection of their private property rights, they too can invest in TreePack through Voice for Texas.
Well, now we have a website set up for that, don't we, Mike?
Yes, sir, and it's Voice for Texas. That's all alphabetic spelled out, voicefortexas.com. And you can go to that website and start to learn more about exactly that public policy legacy that we have in place. And of course, like most things in life, it's nice to learn what we've done for you, but we really are focused on what we're going to do for the Texas property owner in the coming legislative session in January, and many more to come down the road.
And now, at the Texas Association of Realtors, we've actually added on a couple of people to help us with this.
Absolutely. Texas is a great big state, and I know that from my travels, 800 miles east-west, 800 miles north-south, and Texans are diverse, but there are certain things that I think that I have found in my travels that are common, that bind us together, and a fierce sense of private property rights is clearly one of those things that distinguish Texans from other states and bind us together. It's part of our history and will be part of what makes this state achieve its economic potential as we go forward into the 21st century, Rob.
And Mike, we're really excited about having the addition of Patrick Fortner and Christy Hall to help run the Voice for Texas. Having them on board in Austin and having your leadership in Wichita Falls, it really shows that this is a statewide initiative with a local reach. So no matter where you are in Texas, your voice will be heard with the Voice for Texas PAC.
You couldn't be more correct, can you? Specifically, Patrick Fortner can be reached at patrick@voicefortexas.com, and Christy can be reached at christy@voicefortexas.com. And these folks are based out of Austin, but highly mobile and ready to come to your community to help educate the Texas consumer and property owner about a TreePack and about private property rights.
And just an aside, Christy is spelled Christy.
Thank you, Rob. That is correct.
Because there's a lot of spellings of it out there.
You know, there's nothing more Texas than Voice of Texas, and I say that because, one of the most defining characteristics of Texas is the independent spirit. and there's nothing more independent than private property ownership. This I'm a Texas guy through and through. It's the greatest nation on the earth.
Well,
Wow.
We just let the other states call us a state because we're courteous.
You heard it here, folks. Secession is in process.
Texas, if it were an independent country, I just heard this statistic again this week, would have the 14th largest economy out of all of the nations.
Well, actually, Mike, I heard it was 12.
Yeah, I was just
there you go. So,
I've heard it's went to 8th as well.
We're moving up in the world, guys.
Yeah.
It's big. It's really big.
It is
we
big.
allow other states to refer to us as a state simply because of the Southern courtesy.
There you go, and that is us also courteous. Let me jump in real quick and also highlight something that I think is important to remember when we talk about private property rights in Texas. We've got all different kinds of property owners. The one that comes to mind most frequently is the homeowner. There are a lot of homeowners in Texas, and we're extremely interested in making home ownership, seeing home ownership as a dream that's realized by more and more Texans. They project it will double in size in the next 20 or 30 years. And so we got a lot of homeowners out there, and we have a lot of homeowners that will be coming online in the coming years. But it doesn't stop there, guys. Let's not forget the farm and ranch owner. Think about all of the ag, how important ag is to this state,
Absolutely.
and how the farm and ranch owner has a significant investment asset and investment in Texas, and how that guy needs to be protected. And let's also not forget about the commercial real estate properties in this state. We just highlighted the fact of what a juggernaut of an economy that we have. This thing is significant and will continue to be significant. And commercial property owners have benefited greatly. If you take a look at the 40-plus year public policy initiatives that we've fought and defended and protected, I dare say that commercial property owners have benefit as much or more than all classes of property owners. Specifically, I would highlight, Rob, that we're a non-disclosure state. Let's talk about.
I actually talked about that a little while ago.
Well, then you've already plowed that ground, and I'm sorry I missed.
No,
that's
okay. The fact is that they're going to sneak that into some bill again this year. So
Absolutely.
we have to be always vigilant in stopping that from happening, because we don't. It's like us against them, and it shouldn't be. It should be us for us.
Yeah, exactly. The privacy of that transaction is sacred, in my opinion, and history tells us from 37 other states around this country that have what we call a transfer tax, that the disclosure of sales price is the precursor to the dreaded transfer tax, and that's another
Agreed.
another bite out of a tax that government would love to apply. That takes away from private property rights in this state.
I just wanted to talk in to add in here for our listeners. Anyone that has concerns about water rights, street safety, land conservation, excess property taxes. These are all things that you guys are focused on, and y'all have on y'all's website the opportunity to get signed up for email updates and kind of stay plugged in. And it's an easy way to kind of stay connected and stay involved. So I definitely want to recommend to our listeners that they go to voice4texas.com and just sign up on the website there for y'all's email updates.
Because government succeeds in getting what they want a lot of times because people aren't aware. And
well, as soon as you take your eye off of them,
and so,
they'll sneak a new tax in on you or something.
Joe and I can speak about what a bad political action committee is for the mortgage industry and for the credit industry, because we've gotten killed out there.
Yes.
And what a strong one is in the real estate industry.
We're responsible for making y'all be licensed.
That is correct.
We push for that. Now, Kate had an opinion about being a Texan. Tell us what you think.
I love being a Texan.
There you go. There you go.
Well, I think it would be remiss if we did not mention that all of the efforts for Voice for Texas and for TreePack are nonpartisan in nature.
Yeah,
we are looking at elected officials who understand the protection of private property rights and support issues that are important to us in this industry and for homeowners.
That's a great distinction, because we call ourselves the realtor party. We do not say we're R's or D's or
And it's
libertarians
so
or anything.
important to understand that we've got to have friends on both sides of the aisle.
And we do have
And
people
we
who
do.
support our issues on both sides.
Exactly.
We've had some, great Republicans and great Democrats that both understand private property rights, and they're vigilant about
Exactly.
making sure that the American dream is realized, and
Right.
that's part of
Rob,
what we do.
I'd like to jump in, and pardon me for interrupting, but because this is
I'm
a
used to
great
it.
point, Kenya, thank you for bringing this up, because I think this is really, really critical. I spoke several times about the 40-plus year history and legacy. This isn't some upstart movement. This is a well-defined, well-documented political action committee with a legacy of success. And one of the things that you will see is that at no time during that 40-plus year history has TREPAC ever deviated from its stated purpose and mission, and that is the protection of private property rights. So if you become a investor in TREPAC to protect your private property rights, you can rest assured that you will not find TREPAC involved in social issues or deviating, things outside the realm of private property rights. And so I think that's important to me because, I like to know, what exactly is it that I'm, if I invest in this, I'm endorsing it, with my name and with my dollars. And that's important to me. It's important to me that it's nonpartisan. It's important to me that it stays exclusively focused on the stated purpose, and we have the history that demonstrates that at no time have we ever deviated from that.
So what do you see as the big issue for this year coming up on November 4th?
The big issue, we're going to have statewide. We've been static for the last 12 years in our statewide elected offices by and large. We're going to have a new governor. We're going to have a new lieutenant governor. We're going to have a new attorney general. So we've got sweeping changes, and at least in the faces and the names coming, Rob. And so, with change, we're watching closely when the Texas legislature comes into session in January. We think that there will be a discussion about possibly reducing property taxes.
Yes.
In theory, that sounds wonderful, but as we all know, that we don't anticipate that the tax man is in a position to not replace any property tax reduction without revenue.
Mike, we're going to probably have to cut you off a little bit here. We're going to be coming up against a break, and we have to pay for the show somehow.
Absolutely, guys.
So, and I sincerely appreciate you calling in, and I hear the music in the background, which means we'll be right back.